welcome to Retro Scale Modelling. This is part 22 of the Hachette HMS Hood 1:200 scale build. In part 22 I'm going to be concentrating on the funnels for the ship, and I may get onto some more platform work as well. So let's jump in and see how we get on. Starting off with issue 137, and as I said there, this is predominantly for the funnels. The majority of this issue is for the funnels, but as you can see at the start there, it was asking to paint the hull, which of course I done that way back. I can't see the point of putting everything on now then painting the hull, but I've gone through that anyway. So the funnels are fairly simple in themselves to build. There's a little 4-inch ladder that goes in on each funnel on one side, and then once they're in, it's a simple case of just bonding the two halves together. It was a fairly straightforward weld. I did have to use my logging tweezers just to give it a slightly stronger clamp to hold it together. I actually left those two halves to dry overnight, so this is the following day, and it is a bit cold this morning, so everything's taking a little bit longer to dry. So there's two main sprues for the photo etch parts of there, one for each funnel. As you can see, there's quite a lot of photo etch part, and this is just for the top part of the funnel. So first of all, I'm just cutting out a little band that is for the collar at the top of the funnel, and it's the same for the handrails, which I'm cutting out now. These are all quite small parts, and they're quite flimsy as well, so I'm having to be careful how I cut these out. Each unit has two handrails in this cross section to begin with. Fairly easy to fit, but before I fit them, I'm doing the outer section, and I'm just bending these around the inner part of the oval band that you see there. That's because they go in last, but it's better to get them shaped now while before I put in the cross face railings. So now that they're actually in, as you can see there, I can actually place the curved railings, and it's the same with the other one, so both of them are exactly the same. There was actually only a small bit of trimming to be done on these, but as you can see, that's the unit made up now. So there's a set of railings in the cross area, there's on each side, and then on the inner side of the circle. Now this gets fitted inside the funnel, and I'm just using my tweezers to press it down to the line. It was quite a tight fit. I had to press them quite firmly to get them situated. Although I have made a mistake at this point, but I didn't realise it. I only realised it later on down the build. I should have painted these either just before they were in place or just after, because once everything was built up, it's very difficult to get in to paint them unless of course you're using an airbrush, which I never do. Nevertheless, I didn't realise it at the time, so I'm carrying on building this up. So now the cross piece is in, I'm putting in the cage that goes over the top. So there's initially just one main part that goes over above the cross face, and it sort of arches over. And once I've got the main structure arched over, it was just a case of putting in the individual spokes around it. They get attached to the sidewall, then onto the photo etch part in the middle. And once it was all set and dry, I was able to move on to the side. Now these are a series of little pipes that run up the chimney or flume. Each one has its own little location points to guide you in where they have to go. There's a series of eyelets I have to place in here. I would imagine these are for holding down the rigging. So I'm having to drill holes here. So I'm using my hand drill to drill the hole. There is little marks on the unit to guide you to put them in. Now these little eyelets are absolutely minuscule, so once more I'm using my tape on the part before I cut it. This will just help them from flying off everywhere as I cut them off the sprue. Because the last thing you want is to be cutting them and they're just flying everywhere and you'll never find them again once they do that. So once they're all cut, I just peel back the tape, and with luck all the little eyelets will be stuck to the tape. I'll then tape down the tape on my mat so it's not going everywhere, and it gives me an anchor point as well, just to hold the tape down, and I won't get stuck to my finger or my tweezers when I'm trying to lift the photo etch part away from the tape. And it just makes it so much easier when you're dealing with these tiny little parts. I mean, it is there, I know you can't see it on my finger, it is that small. So I just barely hold it with my tweezers picking it up. Then I've placed a tiny amount of super glue in the hole. The camera just bouncing the light off it, then place it in. I am actually using a magnifying glass here to do this. So once everything was on, I went and primed it. I've got some more primer, and then it was time to paint. Now I'm painting the top in Revell Aquacolor, also in black gloss, and this is where I realised that I had made a bit of a mistake. I think the inner workings should be black as well, but I just couldn't get my brush in to paint them. I do have an airbrush, but I wasn't going to set it up just to do this little bit, so I'm just going to leave it the primer colour. I may change it later down the line, but I very much doubt it. So I'm painting the rest of the funnel in the main colour of 43 medium grey by Revell Aquacolor, and that really completes the funnels for now. So now I can go back to some of the pre-made parts that I've made up, and this is the base for the mast and radio control towers. And again, it's just a box with some photo etch parts wrapped around it. So moving on to issue 38, this is carrying on with the radio control tower, and it's the same as I left off, just adding more photo etch parts to the top of this boxed area here. There is 2 supporting arms to go in here. One's on a wishbone shape, and that goes into the top. There is a couple of tiny little location holes for this to rest in. And underneath there's a central column that goes in, well, it's not a column, support beam that goes in, and they just lie on to each other. There's a little bracket that just slips in. I had to hold it for a couple of minutes until it is set. And it was the exact same for the other side. So once everything's dry, I'll get that painted. So I'm moving on to the other pre-built part, and it's much the same as the last one. I'm just learning the size of this with the photo etch plates. There's 2 platforms that go on the side of this, and I decided to try and build the edging of these platforms on the sprue. The reason for this is the curve of these is very difficult to do and try and get it in position and stay there. So I've used the actual space in between the sprue and the actual part as a holding mechanism to build the photo etch railing or sidewall around it. It was still tricky to do, but it did feel a lot easier building it this way. Now, I've no idea whether anyone else does it this way. This is me the first time of trying it, but it did seem to work out okay. So I've taken them off the sprue, and they needed a little bit of tidying up once I take them off. They still will need more tidying up, but I can carry on with the build. There's 2 little wooden struts that I've cut, 5mm in diameter, and these are just getting placed on the bottom. These are the support pillars for these platforms. I'm using Revell Aquacolor 76 Gunship Grey, and that was for the deck part of the platforms. Then I'm going on to the normal base colour for the sides, which is the 43 medium grey by Revell Aquacolor. And once all the paper is dry, there's a simple case of fitting these, and they just go onto the sides here. There's a lot of part sticks out ready to receive them. It's quite easy to fit with the support pillars in place. I'll bring this part to an end. The next part I'll be putting the barbettes on and going on from there. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other builds, including the videos for this build. If you haven't done so already, why don't you subscribe to the channel? You'll be notified of all the updates included for this build and future builds. Hit that like button and of course leave a comment. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.